This is Career Composer. I'm Erin, and I'm helping you, professionals under 30, navigate your careers with a music-themed twist. I'm giving you the job search and career advice you need to get that job, but we'll also talk about music, how to balance our personal and professional lives, and figure out what we're meant to do. Ready? Let's go. Hi, everyone. I hope you all had an amazing weekend. Welcome back to Career Composer. And if you are a new listener tuning in for the first time, I'm so glad you're here. This episode is a perfect place to start because it's what Career Composer is really all about, figuring out who we are, what our strengths are, what we're passionate about, and setting ourselves up for the lives that we want to live. I'm Erin Ahart. I'm a full-time career counselor in Washington, D.C., and today we're talking about work, travel, and building a life you love with Nathalye Chona. Nathalye is truly a dream guest of mine. She's in her early 30s. She has worked so hard to get to where she is today, and she's a real-life example of what we are all working to achieve throughout our 20s. Nathalye proves that you truly can have it all, and you can do anything you set your mind to if you're willing to work hard to get there. This episode will be helpful to people who want to know how it's possible to balance travel, personal relationships, work, health, and everything in between while working full-time. Nathalye also talks about her experience moving to the US from Venezuela. So for international students and people who are looking to work and live in the US, this is an example of someone who made it happen. Throughout this episode, you will also hear Nathalye and I talk about a group called Boston Girls Who Walk. If you found this episode through Girls Who Walk, welcome. Nathalye will talk all about what this group is and her role in starting it, but I literally can't say enough good things about Nathalye and the Girls Who Walk community. This is how women in their 20s and 30s are meeting now in our cities. And if you're interested, I also talk about Girls Who Walk and other ways you can meet people in episode 8, Making Friends in a New City, because I know that so many of us are moving for our careers. Remember, you can stay up to date on all things Career Composer by following us on social media. Our handles are in the show notes below. Without further ado, let's get into the interview with Nathalye. Okay, everyone, I am so excited to announce our guest, Nathalye Chona. Nathalye is the Director of Finance and Accounting at Ziflow. This is an international organization. She also has a dual master's degree in international business and finance, and she is the founder of Boston Girls Who Walk. I am so excited for you all to hear this interview today. Beyond achieving so much success so early in her career, Nathalye is also an avid traveler. She is constantly spreading joy and positivity wherever she goes, and she balances travel, work, life, friendships, and everything in between. So I really admire her for that. And I'm so excited for you all to hear her advice and everything that she has to say. So please welcome Nathalye Chona.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Nathalye, for coming on Career Composer to give our listeners kind of the backstory of how we met, how this conversation came to be. I wanted to share that you and I met because I attended a Boston Girls Who Walk event that you organized. And because of that event, we met a couple other times. And one of these times we had an amazing conversation about your career. You gave me advice for my own career, and that conversation really stuck with me. It was so helpful. And from that conversation and from staying connected with you on social media and in other ways, you seem to be a person who really seems to have it all figured out, and you seem to really love your life. And so again, I just really want to give our listeners a taste of that. So I thought we could have you start by telling our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much for that introduction. And up until this day, I do remember the day that we met and our conversation. So I'm very honored that you have invited me. And well, I'm going to just start by introducing myself. I'm Nathalye Chona. I'm from Venezuela, and I moved to Boston 10 and a half years ago, which is a long time. Um, it hasn't always been that easy, I would say. Since I moved here. So a little bit more about my background. Obviously, I speak Spanish. When I moved here, I didn't even speak English very well. So I actually moved for 9 months to study English. And I started in beginner level. This is how bad my English was. So I'm still learning, obviously. And That was the full idea, just to move here and study English and come back to my country and keep on working. I'm an accountant, and I was as an external auditor working at PricewaterhouseCoopers. The political situation with the US changed when I moved here. So I decided to stay and pursue my master's degree at Hult International Business School, where I met a lot of my mentors and friends within my career in finance and international business.
Awesome. I don't know that we've gotten a chance to talk much about your move to the US. So back then, what was your reason for moving here? Was it for your career? Did you have other reasons?
Yeah, so in order to be promoted within my career, my clients were international. So I had to speak English. I was in the tech industry in the financial sector, and all my clients were English speakers. So I needed that in order to move on my career, move up on my career. So we had the opportunity to come to another country from 6 months to a year and come back to your prior role, and then they will do some tests and then decide if you were ready or not to take international clients back then in 2014.
Wow. Did you always know that finance was your path and what you wanted to do?
I always loved numbers, and I think accounting for me was a little bit too repetitive. So when I moved here and I was looking for a master's degree, I chose international business, and then they have a little bit of accounting, finance, strategy. And once I started classes there, and also it was a lot because of my professors or my mentors at that moment, I love their lives back then, and I was interested into how did they get there, what did they like, what was their life like every single day. And once I really got to talk to them, I thought, okay, let me give it a try. It looks less repetitive of what I'm doing right now. And that might be something I'm interested on. And once I started, I knew exactly that that was the path for me.
Let me take a pause for a second. You're the director of accounting and finance. Can you just quickly, in a minute or less, tell us what you do day to day as part of your actual job?
Yeah. So I love working for for corporations. So like I do corporate finance, and then I focus more on strategy, finance planning. So we build our budgets for the following year, kind of like work into all the planning strategy, cash flow, how to manage the cash that we get, how to report financials to our investors in the US and international ones, how to analyze financial data, financial statements. It's more about how the company is doing and today, and then what can we predict based on this financial analysis? How is the company gonna do in the future? So it's a lot about forecasting and looking into the future while taking the facts from the present and trying to understand based also on the market and our competitors in the tech industry and all the rapid growth that is happening around the world. What what can we anticipate versus what can we solve to? There are things that we can control. We just have to figure it out as we go. So it's always unpredictable, but also very challenging at the same time.
Fast forward to now. Today, we're talking about balancing work, life, travel, building a life that you really love. And so, could you give our listeners today a picture of what your life looks like? What do your days and your weeks look like now?
Yes, of course. I will say I'm a very passionate person, and I always been, and I really enjoy connecting with people. That's most of my friends and family members will know this, but this is one of my main goals all the time, just to maintain those relationships because that's what truly makes me happy. Besides trying to always like see them over the weekends, sometimes during the weekdays if I got time. I really enjoy eating, and I'm a foodie.
Yeah.
I truly if people ask me what do I enjoy the most, it's probably on my top three.
Okay.
Yeah, along with traveling, I think like just sharing a meal with someone that you really love and you really care about and just connecting is just a way of truly just finding a lot of things that you don't even know sometimes that you like or enjoy and learning about the other person too. It's just a natural way of connecting, I will say. Everyone has to eat, right? Most people enjoys food. So, and you have to do that anyways every single day. So it's just an easy way to really do what you gotta do and then at the same time enjoy it at the same time. And traveling, I think, has been a passion in the last 10 years, really. I didn't really travel that much back in my country locally. It was started actually when I moved here, and I started loving other cultures and learning about how different we truly are, especially in my international English school and my international business school and English school, both of them. I met people all over the world, and then I was just very curious about how do people live their lives in their countries with their religion, with their own rules, and also how they were raised as well. So that's something that it was always um, very interesting, I will say.
How many countries have you been to?
Oh, last year I went to 15.
That's what I
I
thought.
I never really counted how many, but I know last year where I went to 15 or 2023 because I had to do this for my visa and listed them all and see how many times I went out of the country and came back for visa purposes. That's the only reason why I know them. So, but yeah, very interesting ones. Uh, very different than what I used to be. Dubai and all of these Middle East countries, super, super, super cool. Just to get the chance to really travel and enjoy and work as well.
Yeah. That's amazing. And I can also back you up on saying that you are so good at connecting with other people. So, for people listening to this, Nathalye is one of the most outgoing people I have met. The fact that you can build relationships with all of these people in Boston Girls Who Walk, which we will talk more about later in the episode, that's how you and I met. You were so friendly right off the bat. And then, yeah, I admire you so much for traveling. I have only been to one European country, which is Spain, and I would love to go back. I'm not in that place in my life yet where I can travel quite as often, but it's so interesting hearing and seeing all of your stories and everything that you're doing.
Thank you. You will, and then you will never look back. You are gonna be like, I just wanna travel more and more and more.
Yeah, I feel like once I do it more, I'm never gonna stop.
Yeah,
So,
you would. You won't regret.
to clarify, are you traveling as part of your job? I assume yes, because Ziflow is international. And how much of your traveling is just you on your own because you love it, and how much of it is through work?
Yeah, so luckily, both of the companies I work for in the US have been like tech startups at the moment that I started. So they both were internationals, and I travel a lot to Europe and in general to the UK for work. Right now, I feel like this year is gonna be less travel for work, and then more about my for fun. Yeah, so but I had great opportunities, and thanks to my mentors who always helped me to be like, international should be your focus because of your background, and that will help you to build a little bit more skills that only accounting and finance in the US. And that was actually the best advice probably I've gotten. Um, and up until this day, it actually works in my advantage. That international experience that I have and like working with different people from different cultures and trying to understand them a little bit more, just because myself, I identify with them in a lot of ways. Um, and working with a lot of people from the US it's been just so rewarding.
So I think for a lot of people, this lifestyle that you have, it seems very far off in the future. Being able to travel, having the success in your career that you do now. being so grounded in your current stage of life. I think a lot of us in our 20s, we might be living paycheck to paycheck even. Maybe we have a couple $1,000s in our emergency savings account. Being able to travel and do all of these things to this level doesn't seem possible right now. I want to know what inspired you to want to live this kind of lifestyle, to travel, and did you know that doing all of this together was always going to be possible for you?
That's very interesting because most people don't really know this, but I remember when I moved to the US, I was studying English, and the situation in Venezuela economically was very limited because of the situation with the US. And I remember exactly, my friends are gonna laugh when they listen to this. I was selling cupcakes in the English school to pay the ticket to the train station, which is crazy to think right now. And I'm so grateful. Yes, I'm so grateful that I had to go through that until the government in Venezuela kind of released my funds and converted them to USD, because we are not a country where you can just go and buy dollars. You have to request an authorization from the government and exchange your money. Crazy, I know. But Venezuelans will understand what that means. Uh, so I think you will create the life that you want if you work hard and try to do whatever it takes to move up in your career, in your personal life, in your personal growth. Like selling cupcakes was also amazing. My friends will buy for me and they will help me to promote them with their friends. And then I have a waiting list, and then I will prepare in advance who was I going to sell it to. So I think if you really work hard for anything, even doing cupcakes, you will get to where you are meant to be. And that's what I always tell people. It's about your attitude, your energy, and technically what you really want. That's all it takes. Like for any single person that you know, you will see that the attitude is so important, and the energy that you're putting out there, it's probably the most attractive thing for someone to be like, I'm connecting to this other person. It doesn't matter if that person has money or it doesn't, has a degree or it doesn't. It's who you are as a person at the end of the day. And that comes from values, from how you are raised, and your own friends and people that you surround yourself with. So I think, did I ever see myself here? I didn't even see myself leaving my country in the first place. So I think that was the hardest change in my life almost 11 years ago. So I didn't really see me internationally or anything. I think I just figured it out year by year at the moment, and it was all a blessing in disguise, thanks to my government, I will
Wow.
say.
I can kind of connect to that because I worked at CVS for 6 years as a cashier at Penn State. I mean, I didn't have to learn a completely new language or leave my country, so it is not the same. But I do get that. And when I was a cashier at CVS, I had to be friendly. My manager was so strict about having the best customer service and getting 5-star Google reviews. And so I would have been friendly anyway. But because of that, I actually met some great people who would come in regularly. And, maybe if I stayed in my area at home, that would have led to opportunities. You just never know.
Yes. And honestly, people, it's so underrated how you start. It's hard just to show up in a job that sometimes you probably don't envision yourself in the long term, but you have to do it for a short period of time. And I think I've always been really good at setting up realistic goals. And I knew that I needed to really get the train ticket anyway. So it
Yeah.
was like short-term goal, but how do I figure it out a way to get me through that, right? And that's just an example that probably wouldn't make wouldn't risk like make sense for other people that wouldn't need to do that. But you learn skills that you don't even know you need to. And then once you implement those in your job, in your personal growth, it's always worth it. It's always helpful, I will say.
Yeah, exactly. If you could go back in time to back when you were selling cupcakes to pay for your train ticket, what advice would you have given that person knowing what you know now?
I will say to myself, just don't be shy to go put yourself out there. I was telling them, I remember at $2, which in probably in the supermarkets you'll find a dozen for like, I don't know, five. So it didn't make sense. But people know the reason why. And sometimes people really buy into the person that is selling more into the real product. It's about really supporting others. And that's why I think I made a goal for myself to really help anyone and everyone that wants to be helped, not only in their careers, but in their personal lives. I love that. And I will say, if everyone just will be a little bit more kind, uh, without really expecting anything in return, I mean, we will live in a different world, right? And like I know my friends now, up until this day, which I had them for like over 10 years, they were the most supportive people in my life at that moment. They will buy me three cupcakes and they'll be like, I wouldn't even eat them. They will just give them away. But the people that you really are surrounded yourself with and motivates you and be like, I will support you and I will, help you. Those are the people that you have to stick by and maintain over the time. Even if you don't really need anything, it's just a matter of being grateful. And I've been very lucky to have incredible people in my life all the time since I moved here, before I moved here. So yeah, it's been crazy. I would just say go for it and stop overthinking and try it. And if it doesn't work, then you will figure it out something else. And that's a beautiful thing, just to keep it going.
Yeah. And that's so true what you said. If everyone could just be kind without accepting anything in return, that is even the rule of thumb in networking and the advice that I give to students as part of my job. When you are attending networking events, and if you can remember something about your conversation that you had with someone last time, the next time you meet them, you can say, oh, hey, how is this job search going? Do you need any help with XYZ that you mentioned? So if you can remember something from your conversation that you had with someone last time, that's such a great tool for networking, but also just building friendships and trying to help your friends as you go along the way.
100%. 100%.
This is the Prelude, our music segment of Career Composer. Now, Nathalye is a huge Shakira fan, and after doing my own research on Shakira this week, I realized just how many parallels there are between Shakira and our careers. Shakira was told by a vocal teacher once that her voice sounded like a goat, and she would never make it in the music industry because of that. But because of Shakira's unique voice, she is immediately recognizable whenever you hear a song by her. You know it's Shakira when she's singing, and because of that, she became a global phenomenon. Nathalye talks about how when she was at Hult International Business School, her mentors helped her see that speaking Spanish and being from Venezuela was a strength, not a weakness. And for my international students out there, I really hope that sinks in. In my 5 years of helping hundreds of international students as a career counselor at multiple universities, so many international students have asked me, is it a problem that English is not my first language? Or is there a language barrier when we're speaking? But in these 5 years, there has only been one student who I thought that maybe they might have an issue with their English in an interview. The other thing about Shakira is you can't be sad listening to her. Her songs just make you want to get up and dance. And so many of the songs I like have zero English in them, and I don't know any Spanish. Sometimes good music is just good music. And sometimes in our careers, talent is talent. That's it. If you're talented in one thing that someone else really needs, sometimes it doesn't matter if you have the cherry on top preferred qualifications or any extra frills on your resume. And if you feel that you are lacking in a specific area, go back to your roots. What are you naturally good at? Don't put yourself in a box or keep from applying to amazing opportunities simply because you don't meet all of the job requirements. Focus on what you're good at, be confident in that, and go for it. Nathalye said that the original Shakira albums are her favorite. So let's do some Shakira through the ages, shall we? So back to early Shakira. Of course, we have Hips Don't Lie, Underneath Your Clothes from the Laundry Service album. That is my favorite. Whenever, Wherever, also from the Laundry Service album. And then we also have Dia de Enero. This song does not have any English in it, but I love this song. The music itself is just so beautiful. Moving into 2010's Shakira, first is Beautiful Liar with Beyonce. Now, this is 2007, but I feel like it's in the same era as the other ones I'm going to mention. Next, we have Remember to Forget You with Rihanna. Waka Waka, This Time for Africa. That was in 2010. And then we have La Bicicleta from 2017. I also love this song. And then finally, we have modern Shakira. She has really been making a comeback in the last couple years. We have TQG with Karol G. And then we have Soltera, which came out in September 2024. And this is another song that I absolutely love. It has been on repeat ever since Nathalye mentioned Shakira, and I saw that she had this new single. So let this be a reminder that we all should be going back and listening to Shakira, especially the early albums like Nathalye suggested. Now, I also want to ask, how did you become the director of finance for an international organization? And it sounds like this is the second or third international organization you've worked for in your career. How did you achieve this so earlier in your career?
Third.
Third, okay.
And I feel it's all connected to what literally you just said. Networking and just, I had three fundamental people in my life. My former CFO, Steven Gregorio, my former CEO, Derek Langon, and my former VP of Finance, Brian Beaupre, that up until this day, over the last 2018 and onwards, have been my mentors, but more importantly, they are part of my life. And this is something that I have to emphasize a lot, like your mentors and the people that you work with, they are key to your success. Once you find these people that not only care about your career and you as a person, as a co-worker or as an employee, but they really care about you as a person, that's like life-changing, or at least it was for me. I've maintained a really close relationship, thankfully, with the three of them. And I think I'm here because of them. I'm thankful every single day and every time I see them, which is often, to some of them. It's I am who I am, and in my career, just because everything that they taught me, everything that they mentored me with, they helped me. And, I started working really hard and set up my goals without comparing myself, because I technically started a little bit behind than people because I have to start over, right? Like I had to leave my country, leave my career there, learn English, do my master's degree. So I lost a few years between studying and trying to find a new job here with the working visa and the student visa and all of these little details that are tiny challenging, I will say. I lost a few years just to get to this point of my career. But with their help and with their mentorship, I really achieved things that otherwise I wouldn't have. Just trying to connect with these people, network, and be yourself. I will always say they always saw me all my qualities and my international differences as something that was actually positive and a benefit for them. And they always found a way to turn my skills and my personality, my interpersonal skills into a role that will work for me too. So it was like on both sides. And yeah, that's why I learned a lot from them. They gave me opportunities because they really connected to who I am as a person. And like getting to that part of your career where your boss cares about you, not only as an employee, but as a person, that's the best way to really work every single day. I wouldn't otherwise. And I remember this from Derek, my former CEO, that told me once, think about the last three former managers or bosses that you had and think about what skills and what makes you work as hard as you did from them. Like what motivated you to work so hard for them. And up until today, it's something that I carry with me. I thought about the three of them and why did I work extra hours or like sometimes weekends when all my friends were drinking, going out, doing other things that also fun, but it was more aligned to their goals and not to mine. Why did I do all of that? And it was because they inspired me, they motivated me, they saw potential in me when I sometimes doubted myself, and they were like, you can do this. We will help you. We will guide you. We will find help if you need, some help with some skills, and then we'll get you there. And you need those people. But it's hard in corporate America to find people that are so thoughtful and so kind without expecting or wanting anything in return. And that's why for me, that's my way of living. And even if it's not like for Boston Girls Who Walk or me as a person with my own friends, my family members, the people that I really care about and the strangers that I meet every single week, thanks to Boston Girls Who Walk, is help everyone. Let them help them to feel comfortable and to feel themselves when sometimes they can't. They are shy, they are afraid of speaking up. Try to make them feel included, I will say too, and be welcoming to people because you never really know. Maybe they want to be this person. They want to be open and they want to be extroverts, but maybe they have bad experiences. So I will say it's all about the connections that you do, but from your heart, like truly and authentically being you, what is going to bring you so far in your career and also as a person.
You said there were three qualities that each of these people had. What were they?
Yeah, so the three of them are a little bit similar but different. One of them is like extremely authentic to the point that he's technically my American dad. Like that's what I call him. He says that I'm his third daughter too. So super authentic. Wherever he will go at work and with his family, in work trips, in family dinners, he was the same person, no matter where. Like not just himself. And that to me was so inspiring. I'm like, I want to be like him. Like, I will never want to change myself because of the people that I'm with, or because I'm in a work event, or because, I'm just with my friends and you tend to be yourself. If you are being different in your workplace or in your outside of your personal life, you are lying in one of those places. And that's something that for me was a non-negotiable. I didn't want to be that person, right? So that's one of them, authenticity, always. My other boss, he is very good at mentoring people. He helps with all the kindness on his heart and helps everyone without expecting anything in return. He that type of person that will put your career on top without even working for you. He still calls me up until this day to be like, tell me more about how you are doing. How is your family? How are your friends? Tell me more about your trips. We follow each other on social media too. I follow his daughters in social media,
Yeah.
like his family. So we are very close. But up until this day, he's like, whenever you're ready to move on from your company or your career, I'll be there to help you. What can I help with? Right. So there is nothing in return. It's just he we connected and that's it. Like we as people, like as human beings, I will say. And then the last there, it's I think work ethic. Like they are the people that no matter what, you can rely on, you can trust. And these people that you can trust and are reliable and you can always count on are those people that you will have for life. Always in any situation, they will always be there for you. And I try to be this person to my friends, to my family, and at work. And I try to be the same person. I try to help everyone that I can. And I really try to be like, this is who I am, no matter where I am, no matter who I'm with. And, and always work hard for whatever you want, not only at work. And people will see this as your branding, as who you are. Like if you ask your closest friends 3 words to describe you, they probably will say the same thing or they will overlap because that's who you are. That's who you have been for multiple years, right? So it shouldn't be a difference. It should be like, oh, this person is these 3 things, right? Like that's when you know that your personality and you as a human being have been consistent over the years, I will say.
Since it sounds like mentorship was such a huge part of you getting to where you are today, those 3 things, I'm sure you didn't discover them about each of these people overnight because you don't have years to build relationships and friends with these people when you're interviewing for your next role and maybe trying to leave your current company or just find something different, new, and exciting. What tips do you have for how people can try and discern whether or not these people have these qualities that you're looking for in a short period of time?
Yes. So, yeah, interviews are really hard. I would just say because you have like 20 to 30 minutes to really know what the other person looks like on a work setting. I will say I always get this feeling in me and follow my intuition. Like if I didn't feel the energy back or if I didn't feel a connection with this person, I will just not pursue anymore. And like I know I've lost some good opportunities to great corporations, really big ones, because of it. But I don't look back. I'm like, I wasn't meant to be there. Like, if I don't feel a really strong connection with the other person, even on friendships, even when I know someone, I just kind of step out of that because you can feel if someone is authentic or honest right, right away. I think there is an energy factor on it, but also we're also different, right? And like maybe I wouldn't connect the same way with you as we did from the first time if we wouldn't have values in common, if we wouldn't have any characteristics in common, you know? And you're never gonna be liked by everyone. Sometimes my personality, the things that you said, which thank you, you admire some people don't really like. It's like, oh, she is too extrovert. She wants to be the center of attention when sometimes it's not even about that. They see it as that because they reflect what they have inside. Some others will do something else. So I think on an interview, I would just say, how do you feel after that interview? Did you feel that you were able to connect with that person, or was it super superficial that you are like, oh, I didn't really get to that point where I felt like, was this a conversation human to human being, or was this a conversation that felt like we were 2 robots, you know? Um, and that will always tell you the truth. Just follow your intuition and you won't regret it. You won't look back.
Yeah, that is such great advice. I feel like we could talk about that specific topic for so much longer. Back to travel. Do you need to have a high paying job to have this kind of lifestyle? I know you said a lot of it is through work, so I'm sure that certainly helps.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a really great question. I will say you will just have to choose the things that are your priorities. And for everyone, it's gonna be different. For me, 100% is food. I not travel unless I will be eating something that I really like. It doesn't have to be expensive, but do your research before you travel. I will say this is key. You can find other really local places or gems, and they're not that expensive. And what are you able to sacrifice, right? So, like, do you just prefer to stay in a really high-end hotel, but then eat at McDonald's, for example? I wouldn't, but I'm a foodie. So I will be like, as long as it's clean, the accommodation is okay, but then something that I can sit and enjoy and it's an experience for me matters the most. And what I will also say is have these savings, start making sacrifices during your life, for example, you are going to travel in March, right? Uh, what I'm not going to go out to eat during 2 weeks. I'm going to cook at home. And, that also helps to be healthier. So it's actually a win-win situation. And then, um, and then I'm gonna make every single day, I'm gonna save some money out for this specific trip or for if I wanna go to a concert or if I wanna go to a restaurant right now. So I would say you have to organize yourself in a way that will make sense with your priorities, but you also will sacrifice yourself. Like there is never a way to really do everything that you want at least when you're starting. Um, you will have to really be organized and be mindful of, I know I have this goal. How can I achieve that? Work backwards. I really want to go to this trip. I'm going to eat at home. I'm going to sometimes say no to a lot of invitations and be honest to your friends and be like, so many times when I was selling cupcakes, I'll be like, I can't go to the beach because, I have to go to bed early and make cupcakes for tomorrow or things like that. And at the end of the day, that's you can compare to anyone. And that's something else that people tend to do. They compare themselves to where people is now. They don't really look back and be like, how did she get there? Right? How many years did she take to get a really good job or learn English or XYZ? People just compare themselves at the moment. And your life is not a snapshot. It could never be, right? Because you happen before, after, during. So sacrifice yourself, prioritize, prioritize the things that you really want and are not negotiables for you, and make it happen. Always make it happen. Work harder than everyone else. Always. And you will see the difference over time.
It really sounds like spend money and put energy into the things that are must-haves that you really want, that are going towards your goals, and maybe cut back or maybe cut off spending everywhere else because that's not helping you on your path to achieving your goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you do that because it's something that you really want, you won't really feel as a sacrifice because you will be it's going to be so rewarding at the end. Then you're going to be like, oh, it was worth it, and then at the end of the day, I didn't do these things, can I live without them? Like maybe those are things that sometimes we do socially. You don't have to go out and drink every single time, right? Especially in Boston, $15 to $20 every single drink. You drink,
Crazy.
that's $60 plus tip.
Yeah.
Like you can go and have fun with your friends, eat before you go, which I did a lot. I would eat at home and then meet my friends because that's what truly matters, right? I'm gonna go to your birthday, but I can have dinner or I am not gonna drink. They will understand if they are your friends. If they are
Right.
not, then it will make you feel bad. And then you probably don't need that relationship in your life anyways.
Right. Right. And I also remember the sacrifices I would make were around making friends. So when I lived in Massachusetts, my main goal was to make friends. And so I would sacrifice my sleep and get up early to go to the 9 a.m. Girls Who Walk events and take the train or drive into the city. And that really helped.
Love that. Connections, everything. I always said it.
We are sadly getting to the end of our conversation. But I do want to circle back to Boston Girls Who Walk. You, again, are the founder of this group in Boston. What is the purpose of this organization and how did it all start?
Yeah. So I think it's all about timing. I remember this day, and everything has been a team effort. I wouldn't say this community is here because of me. It's people that have been instrumental to the success, like Caroline, Maria Jose, Luana, Liz, and all the work leaders, the social media team, the volunteers that we had along these years. Every single one of them have been part of Boston Girls Who Walk. I wouldn't call it any other way. I think, and I love them. I connected with all of them. We are close friends with some of them. Some other moved outside of the city and got married and are busy with their lives. And I would love to see them at any point, but it all started to after COVID to connect with people and get just some steps in because it felt like we were all just working from home, some people, and we were not able to really have social events for a long time. People got used to it and got comfortable with it. And some people wouldn't even exercise that often anymore. So that was the main reason how it started. And I remember talking to Caroline. It was only the two of us at that moment. And we were like, in these walks, we were just afraid that no one will show up, to be honest. And we were very anxious, like, who is going to join a walk in March of 2022? Like, randomly, it was cold, and more people show up. And then these amazing connections that we made and partners and opportunities that we got over time, it was all organically. Like, we would just be there to create new friends. And then every single week they will be like, oh, why don't we try a workout class? There's some Pilates instructors started reaching out. Some partners started emailing us or seeing the Instagram posts and wanted to partner, collaborate. And we always try to say yes, especially for local businesses. And it was more like the community grew themselves to what it is right now. And then we were trying to do a little bit of everything. During winter, we had more opportunities to do indoor classes. And we always have focused this also on wellness and things that are most of the time inexpensive because of some people are students, some people are starting their careers. We did networking events, which was very rewarding back then to help people in our careers too, to be like, we do this for fun, but we have corporate jobs that we also love. And it's like, you can do both, right? And this reminds me of a podcast that I'm obsessed. You should check it out. It's called Actually, You Can Do Both. And it's two girls, two corporate girls, Ashley and Ford, that have corporate jobs and they also are trying to balance their lives into wellness and travel and having great relationships. And we met through the founder of clothing brand called CV. And McKenna, which is my favorite founder, we have a lot of things in common. She is a person that her energy and she connects with everyone so easily. She's so authentic. And she invited them. They are close friends, but we are all having so much in common. We are all girls that are in our late 20s, early 30s, trying to make connections, but having our corporate jobs and balance our lives and do everything that we want and we like. So you can do both. I believe in that. and yeah, so we just started as a working group and now it's an incredible community that I will always be thankful for and have gotten so many opportunities out of this through connections, through networking, and through amazing people that are just so selfless and kind and welcoming to our Boston community.
And just so everyone listening knows, Nathalye is so humble. This group, Boston Girls Who Walk, has grown to have 9,500 followers on Instagram. There are 3,700 members on Discord. And I know firsthand how much of an impact you've made on others because even after I was no longer living in Massachusetts, I went to the DC Girls Who Walk group that was started here and made friends through that organization here. Of course, the community helped to build the organization, but you helped start it, and that is truly amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. No, I think it's been a team work and I honestly wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. I learned so much for every single person and from you and from like everyone that I met through in the last, wow, almost 3 years. Crazy to think. So honestly, I'm just so honored and lucky to be part of it.
Oh, sadly, we are coming to a close. Oh, this has been such an amazing conversation, not just about travel and work, which is why we came here to talk, but also about mentorship and networking and everything that has gotten to where you are today. I know that it's going to be so helpful to anyone who's able to hear this conversation. Now, here on Career Composer, we do talk about how to get ahead in our careers. We talk through some career advice, but there's also a music element. I do ask every guest who comes on the podcast, what is your favorite song, favorite album, and favorite artist?
So, favorite song, I will say Edith Whiskers. I don't know how to pronounce it properly. My favorite artist, probably Adele. It's one of the first artists that I could understand in English when I was learning. So because it's so well and slow. And that was probably one of the first artists that I started, just listening to music in English to learn how to pronounce. So it has a special place in my heart. Favorite album, I will say anything from Shakira, like the
Okay.
Colombian list. All of them, I will say, especially the original ones, which I don't know the names by heart, but she is, I grew up listening to her, so I think that's something that sticks to my childhood and yeah, my Latin blood, and my culture. So those will be the three.
I love that. Well, I'm an Adele super fan. I love Adele. So I definitely understand that. And Shakira, I haven't listened to Shakira in a long time, but she was so popular. Like 10 years ago, everyone was listening to Shakira. So that's a reminder for me to go back and listen to some of those albums.
I know. Plus, it's like Latin music, so it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. Upbeat, happy. You can't feel sad when you're listening to Shakira.
Exactly.
Well, again, Nathalye, I'm so grateful to you. This has been so great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And I'm so glad that I could make a little bit of an impact in you. And I'm so proud of your, new podcast, you following your heart and just actually doing what you're meant to be, which is this career advising thing. There is so many women and students and starting their careers that sometimes you stay in a job that you probably don't love because you want to advance in your career, or maybe you work with people that is not really contributing to your personal growth, even though they might be paying you really good salaries. I think that's not the most important element to your personal growth and career growth. So very proud. Can't wait to see you growing and building this dream of yours. And I hope I get to go to DC this year and see you in person again. Go to maybe DC Girls Who Walk, and hopefully you come to visit again and see us.
Yes, and we'll have to show you some of the DC restaurants when you come here too. So much good food.
I have a list, and I haven't even been there once. I have a list already.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I'll give
Of
you
course.
some to add to the list too.
Hopefully we go together. So I'm very excited.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Erin. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you, Nathalye. I hope you found today's episode helpful. Career Composer will be back with a new episode every other Monday. And if today's topic really resonated with you, I hope you'll consider leaving a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. Reviews will really help this podcast grow so I can keep bringing you the career content that you want. You can also email me at careercomposerpodcast@gmail.com with feedback or questions because I want to give you the career advice that you actually want to hear. That's all for now. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time and have a great day.